Sustainably here at the Anthropocene Community Farm over the last 34 years. This is our attached pit greenhouse, which is attached to the house we live in, which is a recycled log house originally built in 1892 that we moved here and put together, and then attached a bunch of good energy choices onto it. So here's the greenhouse. It's a pit greenhouse, which means it goes 4 feet into the ground. It's to keep frost out of the sidewalls, and allows us to get 50 some degrees of gain off of the floor all the time. Here I'm showing you our solar hot water heater, and this is a homemade thing. This panel here is where the water circulates through, and that runs it. It's an interesting solar hot water heater because it doesn't use ethylene glycol. It doesn't use heat exchangers. It's simply pulling the water out of the hot water heater and cycling it through there. And we can do this because the panel's inside the house. So I'm going to show you inside here. It's mostly kind of a mess all the time because it's a workspace. It does a lot to heat our house. Okay, so as you can imagine, we get a lot of passive solar gain in here, and the heat that is generated by the greenhouse actually can go up into the living space by these vents up here. So right now it's beginning of March. It's been warm. It's warm, relatively speaking. Mid 40s and teens at night. But we have not had a fire in our house in a week now, and the temperature is just fine. When it's not as sunny as it is here today, and we run a wood stove upstairs, the wood stove is actually connected to this 800-gallon water tank that's down here. It's got a small pump here that during the heating season we circulate the water from this tank up to our wood stove, and it comes back down, so it heats the water in this tank up. And when the water in this tank goes up 20 degrees, you do the math and you've added a million BTUs of water, or excuse me, a million BTUs of heat into the water. And so we're creating a big radiator here with that system. So when the sun's not shining, the wood stove is heating up the radiator down here, which adds heat to the greenhouse, which comes back up in our house through the vents there. And then over in the corner here is our solar wood hot water heater. Here you can see the solar panel. Here's all the guts, the pump. You can kind of see, it's a jumble. Looks like a jumble, but the pump actually pulls the water out of the hot water heater, sends it through the collector, comes back in. In the wintertime, we keep the wood part of it disconnected, so cold air doesn't come down through the vent stack or the chimney into the wood-fired part of the hot water heater, which when we do have that hooked up in the wintertime, too much cold air comes in. So we just pull it, stuff it with a sock, plastic bag, and pretty much use the sun for shower water. And you know, if there's not enough sun and we really got to have a shower, we can put a fire in here. So in the 34 years that we've lived here, we've had basically free hot water. It's not hot water on demand. It's hot water when we need it. But it's solar and it's wood. So we haven't had a bill for hot water in the 34 years that we've lived here. And try not to create any more pollution than we have to. So that's why we like to use the sun for hot water instead of, you know, heating up some wood to create hot water. Then the other thing we got going on here is clearly it's a greenhouse where we do a lot of plants. These are herbs from what we use. Most of they're in pots, so they go outside in the summertime, come in here in the wintertime. We store squash out here in the wintertime. This is the tail end of what we had this time around. We start plants back here. We're just getting started. And then this is an interesting thing. So our house has a urine diverting composting toilet. So we don't have any waste going out from our toilet. It all gets recycled, both as compost and as urine that we mix with water and put in and use it for fertilizer. So we have a greywater system that goes from the house out to here. This is our it's like an indoor mound system. So what little water we use, which we estimate over the past 34 years, even raising 3 kids here, that we use less than 5 gallons of water a day for our own personal use, which we think is pretty good. So the water from upstairs goes through a grease trap on the other side of this wall here, and then comes down here and goes into this kind of a distribution system. You can see the PVC there, and so that distributes the gray water from 2 sinks that are upstairs into this growing bed. And how about this? It's the 1st of March, and we've got a lovely bed of salad greens growing here. Then the other thing that we have running into the gray water distribution is this hose here, which empties the water from the shower. So this is our solar shower, drains down here, which is below that level. So the gray water goes into, I got this pulled so you can see, a little vat down here, and then it gets pumped from there into the growing bed. So it's very little water. It's immaterial. So this greenhouse here, you know, provides heat for our house. It provides plants for us to eat and sell. The growing beds, you know, giving us a pretty nice salad right now. And what can I say? You know, it kind of takes a lot of money off of our expenses by the heat it provides, the hot water it provides. It's not much to look at. It's a workshop. It's all that. So that's what I got. You got any questions on like what I'm doing here with this, or perhaps you've got a greenhouse that you love and would like to share, let me know. That's what I got today. It's like March 7th or something like that. And yeah, just toasty as can be, keeping our house warm, growing our plants. And this house that we live in has zero water waste, which I just love, given, the care of the plant that we got to have. No gray water going out of here, and all the poo and the pee gets turned into fertilizer. So how about that? You could do this too. Have a nice day.